but I think so are Team Spirit. So I'm just going to lean towards the side of Spirit just because they're
Very well, Team Spirit, she says. Confidence brimming as we go into our match. Team Spirit versus Team Liquid. Let's bring it to the casters. Ohio.
Numbers have
Thank you very much, Sir Action. Slacks on Sven with Cinderin.
Thank you very much, Slacks.
Thank you very, very much. This is going to be a very hype match because, well, we're at the bottom of the standings right now, but this is going to shape the way that this goes for a couple of these teams in all likelihood. I mean, there's another day of games, but I feel like Liquid has to 2-0 to just stay in the running. And if they do, I believe they pretty much tie up with Spirit, if I'm not mistaken there, Cinderin.
I think they might need to even win an additional game on top of 2-0ing to be tied, but I could be mistaken on that.
Yeah, but I would say Liquid overall have been kind of the team that nobody's really expected to be at the bottom this quickly. They've underperformed for the most part. Of course, they have, you know, they haven't had this exact lineup for that long. And then in terms of Team Spirit, they've gotten 0-2'd one time, and the rest are draws. And they've looked really good in a lot of these games. So expecting a pretty good match here.
The thing I will say about Liquid as a LAN team is that they are, like, with this roster, they've been kind of, not this specific roster with Sumail, right? But before with Boxy as well.
Yep.
They've been very volatile on lands. Like, there are some lands where they look amazing, and then there are some lands where they have a really bad day, and then they come back. There's lands where they start out 6-0, and then they go 6-6, you know? Like,
oh boy, and it starts out here.
It's gonna be fine.
Yep, gets purged off there for just a moment. Toronto Tokyo can't quite get that ridiculously low-range Dragon Tail on him.
So what I'm trying to get at here is Liquid are currently 2-8, but they are the kind of team who can just suddenly turn it around after that last game. Sure. So I'm not going to write them out based on that, but I will still... You're actually right, by the way. They will be tied with Spirit if this is a 2-0. Then they would both have 4-8. But I still think, like, just on average, right? Let's consider the average performance so far in this tournament. I think Team Spirit have just been better. I think it's just fair to say. So I will favor them going into the matchup based off that as well. But obviously, Liquid grabbing that last game win against TNC is definitely a bit of a morale boost. You saw Insania jumping up and down, running around, cheering his teammates on. I think part of it, kind of a, you know, desperation cheer in the face of evil, but
that's an interesting way to put it. I thought it was just, you know, I mean, it's probably exaggerated because they're getting destroyed, but I mean, you kind of need that kind of morale.
Right. I think it was great. I think he's trying to pull his teammates back up. It's obviously been really tough, and sometimes having a little bit of the ability to mock yourself a little bit to, you know, it can be a good morale boost in the right circumstances, right? And I definitely think that was the intention there. Like, he was genuinely happy they won a game, but they also realized, you know what, like, this is obviously kind of ridiculous for us, but we got to make the most out of what we've got. So
what do you think? Mickey is playing this position 1 tiny, which we haven't gotten to cast yet. It's always been a support. Obviously, since they changed the fact that, you know, you can buy the shard to have the infinite amount of tree throws or whatever you want to call it, so you can just never lose it when you actually attack. The position 1 is on the table for this hero, but we haven't seen it a ton yet. What are your thoughts on that hero this game?
I don't think it's that good of a carry tiny game, in particular because what makes a good carry tiny for me is that there's easy kills, right? Like, that's what this hero excels at. You want to blast people with your avalanche toss, and then if you're a carry tiny, the logic later on becomes you either have a really good combo for tree volley, or you find a way to have big benefit from the cleave, which is kind of nice against PL, I guess. Like, that's the one thing.
Wait, but free volley as an Aghanim Scepter?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I will say, like, against both Dragon Knight and Kunkka, I don't think, like, those are not matchups you like. They're very tanky.
Yeah.
They're strength frontliners. They have a lot of sustain. You're playing into Wyvern, who can also negate a lot of your physical component. And Tiny no longer having any status resistance also makes Lion a kind of dangerous matchup, because you might feel deceptively tanky, but you don't really want to buy BKB on this hero, I think, a lot of the time. So, but it feels like a game you have to do it in, right? Against these heroes, there's just too much control.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
well, we'll have to keep an eye on what kind of item build he goes with. I think that's the most interesting itemization choices from my side, at least, because I have no clue what to expect. But qojqva, I mean, you've played with him before. He's going to be on the Broodmother off lane. Obviously, he played Lone Druid last game, and that helped them stay in the running to not get the bottom 2. What are you expecting from him this game?
He's getting some of his good heroes. He plays a really good Brood.
Just love these micro heroes, huh?
Yeah, he does. He also likes Visage, but that hero is not being played this tournament so far. I think 0 games, maybe 1.
I remember you quoting that would be the hero of the patch, actually, because of the Aghanim.
Yeah, when the Aghanims came out, it was destroying pubs. I don't remember if it got nerfed or if people just figured out that Vanguard was busted.
Yeah.
But that's probably the primary reason we don't see Visage is Vanguard owns it way too hard. And you can even buy Crimson, right? If one of your heroes wants to get Vanguard anyway, the upgrade isn't that expensive, and your whole team is just covered against Visage. So
right.
I think that's the
actually does connect for Collapse. Mira not really in range to get an Earth Spike off, but you can see the Tidebringer just doing work.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is not a good lane matchup for Tiny whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to get first blood in the bottom lane, though. Naposhka taken out by qojqva, and I mean, they've made a lot of little nerfs to Broodmother's laning stage in terms of like the lifesteal that she gets. It's not nearly as much in the earlier levels, and typically you don't start taking off until you're level 6. But I mean, that's really good news for Liquid to see that he's able to get a kill early.
Snapfire is a great lane partner. It has a lot of damage. It has a stun. It even has a slow if it wants to skill it. It's not doing that yet, but might do that on level 4. Yeah, this is a good lane. I personally just feel like Liquid are favored in this lane, just by matchup. But for Team Spirit, as long as Outro is farming, I think they can handle a Wyvern death or 2. It's not the end of the world, but obviously First Blood is always really nice. All right, Collapse still alive.
Purifying Cleanse is going to end up healing him in the end. qojqva getting gone on, though. There's the Spirit Lance there. Looks like he'll be fine, though. The Arctic Burn just wearing off now. I mean, in terms of just like a Brood game overall, I feel like, historically speaking, you look at their lineup in terms of Spirit versus this Brood, and it looks pretty good. I mean, Tidebringer's amazing, but obviously it's not going to really be this right-clicky type Kunkka that we've seen before. As we can see a Doppelganger here in the bot lane. Like, how does this hero fare these days against this type of a lineup?
I think we could see qojqva go a totally different route.
Oh, wow, that's a lot of damage with that.
It will be enough.
Toshka, yeah, with the Arctic Burn and a couple rank clicks is enough, in fact, to net themselves the kill, but qojqva's going to try to turn this a bit. She doesn't have enough sustain after all these nerfs.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Backed off.
So what are we expecting from Brood?
Yeah, Mira. Oh, does get the Earth Spike off, but it's not enough to take out Insania. In the meantime, Mickey, you see the X marks on Collapse to be able to take advantage of this regen.
I think there's a chance that qojqva goes for the pipe build on Brood this game to be able to keep his spiders alive, but he's still playing into Kunkka Cleave, right? It's just tricky because whichever you itemize against, whether it's the magic damage or you try to get some physical protection against the Kunkka, I think either way your spiders are probably going to die. So maybe you're better off playing it as a right clicker, like you said, and go Orchid. Like maybe that's just better. Try to find Wyvern every fight, shut him down, or Lion. The risk with going Orchid is that if you go on literally anyone else than Wyvern, you're totally hard countered by Cold Embrace.
Right.
Like whoever you Orchid and go on, even if it's with 1,000,000 spiders, they don't take damage, and you're always at risk of obviously the curse messing with you with the spiders as well. So it can be a little bit tricky to do that. That's why a lot of the times against Wyvern, it's very nice to have a build that does not involve getting your hero in position, but just play the spider link.
Speaking of Wyvern, yeah, little caught out there by Taiga. Yataro's going to be just fine. I mean, looking at the actual net worth right now, top lane though, Mira, it's a lot of burst damage they have, of course, between both the Tiny and the Oracle, so Collapse is going to have to back off for now. Should be kind of low here, now that the spells are refreshing. Fortune's End's going to be there. Mickey looks like might be able to burst him down. There's the Avalanche, and yeah. So this lane is kind of turned around in Liquid's favor. I mean, Tiny, it feels like this hero, even like whether it's mid or, I mean, obviously the position 4 is not really relevant. It feels like this hero just needs to get off to a good start.
Yeah.
Yep, so Mao.
Cookie.
Yeah, the Cookie's going to help this initiate, but I mean, Toronto, Tokyo. I mean, Effie was talking about not the typical hero that you see him play, which I definitely agree with, but it is a hero that will survive this lane at least.
It is. I think he's the kind of player who should just go for a dagger as early as possible. After these treads, probably the next item. I suppose this time around they do have a Kunkka offlane, so maybe it's a little bit too much in the catch category. But judging from how he usually plays in their successful games, he's very much one of the primary initiators they try to run. This is going to be an awful lane for PL now, by the way. I haven't talked about that yet, but Brood has hit level 6, so it's time to evacuate.
Yep, evacuate that big time, and Well, Toronto Tokyo is getting really good use out of his first Elder Dragon form. This tower is already at half HP. Yeah, Itaro has to back off, and we'll just jungle for now, I suppose. But
I wonder if you can place Kunkka bot.
Radiant's bottom tower.
I mean, that's the
is
thing.
under
Like, based on what I've seen, at least, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It feels like killing the spiders isn't really that. It's not like it used to be, where that's just the hero, right? She does so much more now.
Right, and you don't get the same kind of reward. In the past, you would get a lot of golden experience, and now they're worth way less.
Right, but not quite like nature's prophet
Radiant's
tree
bottom
ants, but
tower
pretty
is
bad.
under attack.
You're gonna see avalanches here with the golden embrace, and yeah, that's very thing. But toss back into the tier 1, so it puts them in a little bit of a precarious spot. Gets off the breathe fire to try to mitigate a little bit of damage, but it's not going to be mitigating enough, and that's the 4 rotation there from Liquid ends up paying off.
You definitely don't get as much of a reward for killing spiders, but you kind of have to do it or they just take towers, right? So somebody should probably go down here like, okay, you can give up the tier 1. You're not giving up the tier 2 for free. I think that would be a very big mistake. Obviously, accessing the outpost at 10 minutes is the dream of any Brood. So I do think they're going to place the Kunkka there when he's level 7, and they're just going to use the max Tidebringer to try to cleave out the spiders. It's very difficult for Brood to find a kill on Kunkka, because even if the cleave misses, Kunkka's just so innately incredibly tanky, right? Just throw out the ghost ship and run away and get cleaves multiple times. The cooldown is very low on level 4. But for now, they're actually just willing to completely give up their own half of the map. I'm a little bit surprised that they're not a little more eager to be down there.
Yeah, I think they looks like they kind of want to defend this, although Dragon Form was popped, so this tier 1 tower will likely fall in all likelihood. Mira ends up setting up the Torrent, collapse. Does have his ultimate, doesn't want to expend anything here, just pushing out the creep wave with that Tidebringer, and yeah, this will be a free tier 1, but at the same time, qojqva, tier 2 tower is going to start taking damage.
No way you don't defend this. Okay, there we go.
Is this the... Oh,
he got cancelled.
No, he didn't. That was the fog.
I got cancelled by the observer.
Yeah, it happens. Looks like he's going for a Vanguard, by the way, so just a super, super tanky build on the Kunkka.
Don't do that to me again.
Okay.
No, not you.
Not you.
Yes.
You need to just be quiet for once, Cinder, for God's sake.
That's how I feel like when I listen to Slacks.
Yeah, that's the new meme. Just telling him to be quiet, and he doesn't know how to react. No, Toronto Tokyo still in that Dragon Form. They did get that tier 1 tower, and he is working on the Blink Dagger. I mean, this feels like the only build on Dragon Knight these days. You just get the quick blink, try to set up for whatever else you have. And I mean, their team fight it's okay. Obviously, the Ghost Ship, and I don't know if he's going to go for like Torrent Storm later, like the Aghanim Scepter, but only time will tell. Right now, it's just going to be the tanky build.
I think if you're going this route, we'll go Pipe and, or at least Hood Vanguard first, it looks like. If he wants to go really tanky, I think the Torrent Storm build is perfect, because you're not going to hit the carry timing when you buy 2 defensive items. So you're kind of going to rely on Dragon Knight and PL to do the damage. And that said, Torrent Storm is not a 0 damage build. If you go the right talents, every Torrent will deal 500 damage on level 15. And with Torrent Storm, that is quite a lot. So it doesn't say here, right? But the Torrent knockup / stun duration increases damage, because the damage is calculated over the time during the air phase of the Torrent. So that's more damage. And then you get 100 Torrent damage on 15 for a grand total of 5, roughly 5.
Is that intended? Just not in the
I guess so.
Tooltips?
The thing that's weird about it is that it basically makes the level 10 talent better than the 15 one.
Yeah.
Because it gives about the same damage, but also more airtime. So
yeah,
it's kind of weird. But yeah, it's very powerful with the Torrent Storm, obviously. So worth considering. My main concern with that, though, is that if Dragon Knight is not going to get very strong, your only real scary damage is PL.
Tidebringer. Oh no, didn't get very many. Actually got the wrong side there.
He's got another one.
Is there.
Oh, he missed.
Tidebringer again.
And he missed again.
Continuing to miss thanks to that Silken Bola. And they will survive. The little babies of qojqva now chasing around. Okay, that feels really good. If you're collapsed, that is. That is very satisfying.
If you're qojqva, because now you have less of a Brood to feed.
Sure, you have less things to micro. Thank God he kills them. I hate microing so much. But X marks the spot into the Ghost Ship. Koshka is here as well. Do they have enough damage to follow this up? Looks like Mira is not going to be able to connect on the Earth Spike, and qojqva will live as a result.
Went a little bit too early.
Yeah.
Before Lion was in range, that could have definitely been a kill.
It would have been. They have Finger of Death. Yeah, if that connected, he's almost certainly dead. So now Vanguard online. I mean, we haven't really talked about the PL, but I mean, from Liquid's side, do you think they have enough tools to deal with this hero once it gets to mid-game?
I think they do. Tiny, if he gets farmed enough, and he's currently doing all right, at least he's tied with PL. Definitely has a matchup there. TA versus PL is not as bad as it used to be, I would say. The Cyblade talent and just general flow of the game seems to be less one-sided. In the past, you would love to be PL against TA, but it doesn't feel the same way. And in a lot of ways, against this Radiant lineup, if it's
Mick,
that's
a nice
dead
dagger
Wyvern.
revealed. It actually tosses him not too far, and that's actually going to prevent the kill from coming out. There's a Winter's Curse as well. Looks like the Snapfire is going to be the first to fall. Mickey does get False Promise, but this is going to be a lot of damage coming through. It's a 1-for-1 to start things out as the False Promise ends. Looks like he'll actually basically stay at the same HP, and Collapse is going to get decimated by Sumail with that Melt Strike, and qojqva joining the fight as the Broodmother, something you see a lot more often with this newly picked up Broodmother, if you want to call him that. And they're posturing perhaps to go for more, but looks like they're just going to back off. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of Liquid.
I honestly think Spirit should be relatively happy with that. Like, the way that started, that should have just been a clean Wyvern kill, right? I guess it ended up 2-for-1 because Kunkka rotated.
Oh, another Ava toss back into the tier 1.
That's more like it. So
very nicely done.
The first toss from Mickey, I don't think he threw him as far as he could.
Right, yeah, definitely.
And that's why I thought that's a clean kill, but he actually got to reset a little bit. The Dragon Knight kills the bigger one, though. They get that as well. And here's the tricky part. Whenever you lose against Brood in the first 10 minutes and the map starts becoming a lot smaller, if you don't make successful smoke moves that create space for yourself, either by killing the Brood or by finding a new place to inhabit, you're just losing on farm.
Cold Embrace sets it up again. I mean, pretty sure he was dead anyway, but it helped set up the toss for a little bit later timing. So they're going to be able to clean him up very easily. And the tier 1 tower likely will fall as well, but Yataro took the buyback onto the line. Now they really want to fight. Dragon Tail onto Mickey. Do they do enough damage right now with that boat coming in, the beautiful buff to follow? But Mickey just not taking any damage right now. There's the Winter's Curse. Now he's taking damage thanks to Sumail's right click. But will it be enough is the question. The Tidebringer comes out, finally getting some kills is Team Spirit. And a double buyback from Liquid. They really want this fight as Sumail is getting completely surrounded thanks to those illusions. And it looks like, he actually just walks away. The illusion's not going to do enough damage to actually take him out. Now Yataro's on the run, getting chased by qojqva, and the Snapfire Cookie doing a nice job of locking him down. So the buyback's kind of questionable, but it ends up working out for Liquid. It's another toss back into the fray. Avalanche not going to connect, but he's completely surrounded. Kills off the Spiderlings, but it matters not.
This should be a Roche play as well for Liquid now with these buybacks coming out. They have 20 seconds. It is enough when you have Brood and TA. I don't know how many spiders he has left, so maybe it's not that good, but they have so much other minus armor. Foreign little Shredder, they have a Medallion, they have Melt Strike. It's a very quick kill.
So the buyback on Mick, again, this is a position 1 tiny. Like typically you look at that like, it's the supports, but this is a position 1 tiny. Buying back this early, not the most common thing, but it works out really well. This will be a Roshan kill. Xania will see Pochka and Liquid. Gonna initiate again with the Avatos combination. This time the toss on top of the Avalanche, which means more damage, Syndra.
This is
true.
true.
The kill. 4K net worth lead at 16 minutes. Man, Spirit's games. These last 3 games we've cast.
Night and day.
It's a complete stomp, one way or the other, and you never know which at the beginning of the game.
Yeah. So the first game we had today, they got absolutely destroyed by Beast Code.
Yeah, that was the biggest one.
They were 4K gold behind, I think, minute 7.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Early.
It was crazy. This time around, it is obviously 15 minutes in, but I'm looking at the overall trajectory of the game, like what options each team has, and I just, in this patch, being ahead on map control and having an Aegis on a Brood team is so good. And he did go the pipe, right? On the Brood? Did I just see that? I think so. So he is going the Aura build. Very strong, right? It was one of the options that I talked about. I wasn't sure he was going to do it because of the Kunkka, but he still thinks it's worth it for his team.
Collapse. He wants to go for a combo. He keeps killing these spiders very nicely, but the Silken Bowl is slowing them down. He's going to get tossed back again. Man, Liquid's doing a really good job with this Tiny, I have to say. Kunkka boat comes out, but not really going to hit anything, and Collapse is not going to be nearly tanky enough despite that buff. And Liquid's starting to roll through this game.
Dire structures are fortified.
The way you access the map, I'm going to be repeating myself a bit here, but I feel like in games with Brood, a lot of the times they kind of follow the same pattern. Brood takes over the enemy safe lane tower, starts playing the jungle, gets the mid tower. At this point, if you don't make team moves that are successful, you currently only have access to about 40% of the map, so you're getting out farmed. If your fighting is not capable of winning or winning your space back in the game, you have this PL to put all your hopes into,
Radiant's middle
while
tower is
Liquid
under
are
attack.
farming more of the map, have the Aegis advantage, can choose when they want to push, and whenever you start crossing areas, you're terrified of Brood as a support. This matchup is so bad for almost any support in the game. Like Wyvern is even in many ways one of the better ones, and you can still just get killed by spiders alone. So, oh, that's some more. Nice CS for the Kunkka.
Yep.
241 CS minute 18, not bad.
Yeah, quite deceiving indeed. He's going to have to TP out because qojqva is pretty freaking scary. And now that he's TP'd out, I mean, there's not really, I mean, there's Splinter Blast, I guess, but it's not nearly as powerful as a Tidebreaker.
Yeah,
So-
qojqva's pinging. He's like, wait, Kunkka TP'd out. Free
Yeah.
bot tower.
Exactly.
Is under
Has that
attack.
Orb of Corrosion, so a little bit of minus armor to that tower as well. And yeah, I think this is just going to be given up by
Radiant's
Team
bottom
Spirit.
tower is under attack.
And so far, this spider is definitely working out for Mr. qojqva.
Dire's top
Sumail,
tower
of course.
is under attack.
TA
Radiant's
is
middle
very strong
tower
right
is
now,
under
able to
attack.
farm the crap out of the jungle. They might be giving up their tier 2 top, but it's in trade for 2 tier 2s, both mid and bottom. So Liquid will
Radiant structures
almost certainly be
are
happy with
fortified.
this, if that ends up being the case.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
The one bottom's going to be a freebie, and the
Radiant's bottom
question is, will they try to defend the mid lane?
Radiant's
Sumail, of
middle
course, is the
tower is
Desolator,
under
still has the
attack.
Aegis for another couple minutes. More minus armor from Little Shredder. And yep, they're just going to commit and take it out. Collapse has to X marks. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
That was a cute try. You almost got the deny. I think TA overkilled it by like 10 damage.
10, that's a very precise number you're putting out there.
Yeah, I am bot.
You know, next time you should just say like 11. People will believe you if it's like a random number. Like
I said
even.
about 10.
Yeah, just say it was 11.
About 11.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
All right, the boat comes in, but all it's going to provide is a buff for Collapse for a little bit here. It's not really going to do much, though. Mickey just looking for his opening, and Sumail, I mean, that's the beautiful thing about TAs. You have all this high ground potential. You can push very, very fast. But with the spiders,
They have a lot of
Working out
protection
together.
for him, right? They have Solar Crest, Oracle, Aegis.
oh wow, they have given up so much damage on this top tower, though. Mickey is actually tricked right now with this illusion. Yutaro doing a nice job of pretending to be an illusion. Now they kind of know, but the Snapfire ult comes in. Doppelganger's up. Mickey doesn't have anything up right now. This is going to be pretty close, and the Avalanche will finish him off. It was a good attempt, but maybe stuck around a little bit too long.
That's a big kill. If Liquid are fast, they could go push bottom again.
Aegis will be expiring in 30 seconds. I mean, they gave up a lot of damage, though, to that tier 3 top. That's nothing to scoff
I
at.
think they did about the same amount. So a little bit less. The main thing they need to make sure of now is if PL starts playing top, I think he's a really good target for a gank. He doesn't really have a good way of escaping. As long as they bring their Tiny for the stun or the Snapfire. And I believe he will go back up there because it's the highest pressure play on the map he has available to him is try to force them back.
Right, but Sumail has Aghanim Scepter, so you can essentially travel from trap to trap, so any split pushing will just get shut down by this hero. This is such a cool Aghanim Scepter, and once you get the Shard, which allows you to silence people with the traps, like this is such a cool addition to the game, I think. It's really, really nice addition for TA specifically. All right, we have a smoke here from Team Spirit.
Let's hope for you you never have to play support against this. You might change your mind.
Yeah, I don't, that's why I like it.
Yes.
I actually don't play TA either, so it's funny. I can just appreciate it from afar.
Yeah.
I mean, again, you can nerf the numbers, but the design is cool.
I can also appreciate a good Brood game from afar. That's always wonderful to
That's
watch.
a little bit different, Cinder, but thanks.
Here comes Tiny.
Yeah, Mira's already used his Blink Dagger as the army of spiders is upon him, and the cookie will set things up. He is literally surrounded. That is a nightmare. That's nightmare fuel right there.
Oh, it's beautiful to watch Brood just kill supports.
There's quite a...
has been nerfed to the ground. They still play it
They haven't read the patch
because
notes.
it's all they know.
Yeah.
0.001% of the population plays ability draft, 12,000 games.
Yeah. So what is the point you're getting at here, Cinder? You're just spouting out facts.
You're saying nobody cares if the heroes get deleted. You would lose a lot of players who really love techies.
I think all of that adds up to like 1.1%.
That's quite a lot of people.
I don't care.
Okay.
Anywho, 8K net worth lead for Liquid right now. And again, if you're just joining us, this is an extremely important series for Liquid. They basically have to go 2-0. They are at the bottom of the bottom, and bottom 2 of this group stage are out of the tournament. And again, only tomorrow's games are left before the actual tiebreaker and then into the playoffs. So Spirit definitely at a major deficit this game, but they can afford to technically lose a game or two and still make it through.
They can, but you also, I think it's a little bit dangerous for us to just be like, okay, you're through or you're not through, right? Because I think seed actually matters quite a lot as well. Like the kind of matchups that you're going to get if you're in the bottom of this bracket compared to if you're at the higher end can make a very, very big difference. Sure, you still get to play a series, right? But if you want to have any hope of getting toward those DPC points and the real prize money, you want to get those higher placements, and you're definitely starting off at in a much, much tougher spot by being 6th than being 3rd.
Right. All right, Avatos from McKay, and that is the Echo Saber.
Oh, see ya.
He's actually going for an overwhelming blink 3rd item.
Very good item against PO.
That's true. That's true. One of the few. Collapse is taking basically no damage. This is a very long TP. That's embarrassing low amount of damage, actually. Sumail, oh, that's where he TP'd too. The Ghost Shift connects. He does not have Aegis anymore. That is a big pick.
Sumail was trying to solo the Wyvern top?
Yeah, it looks like
Wyvern just embraced and bought time, I guess. It was, see, that's a pretty ballsy play from Sumail, not because he's trying to kill the Wyvern, but because he's doing it while the tier 1 tower is still up, right? Like, if that tower isn't there, the connection point for the teammates to get up there is not really accessible. So, yeah. It's not the end of the world for Liquid, but when you're dominating the map this hard, it's very important to not like get too greedy and start giving away key picks, especially in this newer patch where you get more comeback gold for getting these kills. He's the top net worth hero in the game. They're going to lose a mid-tier 1 tower for it, right? So now suddenly, I think that one death was like a 2k gold swing.
Oh, for sure.
If
it's not just about how much money you lose. We're going to see an Avatos combo into the Snapfire. Yataro's in quite a bit of trouble. He's going to pop his doppelganger. Looks like he will be okay despite these globs continuing to hit him. Not. Wait, he actually ticks out with the damage over time. Oh, wow. That was as close as it gets in terms of the Snapfire.
Insane bait from Sumail.
qojqva. qojqva is in the fray of things. The Ghost Ship does come out, so that's some damage mitigation. It was all planned, Cinderin. It was all planned indeed. And Collapse trying to get to his high ground. That's the Crimson Guard, by the way. That's pretty cool. The Avatos combination back into the fray, but the X marks the spot, brings Collapse back, and he will actually survive through this engagement.
Can I just say I love how X mark looks when you get tossed?
Yeah, it's great.
It's so nice.
Yeah, X is one of the coolest spells in the game.
Collapse playing the best voice line in the supporter packs.
Yep, we did rate those. That is true.
Very, very good. Probably also the best loading screen.
Shout out to Lil Nick. Yeah, the Cuts loading screen is easily the best. It's not even remotely close. Yeah, but they're now lower division, sadly.
Yeah.
And they kick Lil Nick, which is even sadder. Yeah. I have to say so myself. Lil Nick, you're going to find a Div 1 team. It's all good, buddy.
Hopefully he still gets the money for his amazing voice line.
That's true. I'm sure he does. No way. Mira, Blink Dagger, double Blink Dagger. In fact, Toronto Tokyo gets off his Dragon Tail, but now he's in human form, aka useless form. Minus armor applied thanks to Taiga's little shredder. qojqva going to get cookied on top. They don't really have enough damage to rip through him quite yet. Plus, he's not really the highest priority right now when he's not in dragon form. I don't think any kills are going to come from this, so 9k net worth lead now for Liquid. Roshan is actually available now, so Liquid probably looking for a pick and then Rosh.
Absolutely. I want to find, ideally not Kunkka, I think. If you can kill 1 or 2 supports, that's perfect.
Why is that? Kunkka, I mean, the boat in the Rosh pit sounds pretty good.
I think it's just too hard to kill. Like, if they open on this guy, that's one way they can lose the fight, because he can tank. I don't know what his EHP is right now, but with Crimson Hood and boat, multiple thousand HP.
Where does his Ags and Shard show up on a HUD right now? It's just missing. Oh. What is this? That's so weird. I've seen that for like a Terrorblade, which makes sense because he has a bunch of additional skills, even Tiny's. Huh. Strange.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, this really long-ass HUD from TA.
That's why he's not buying the Torrent Storm. He doesn't know it exists.
Yeah. He has to read the tooltips before the game. I mean, they tried to go for Rosh. It's already at half HP. Pretty risky considering, I mean, the counter initiation possibilities from Spirit. You got Curse, you got Vote, and all that good stuff. They're going to open up on the Oracle. He's going to have to buy back into the game. Nice initiation from Team Spirit. Lion dies as well, but he buys back. Taiga's getting a full duration Snapfire ult in the meantime. I believe they're in the pit. They're actually trying to finish this off. qojqva has to cold embrace himself. Taiga going to get the minus armor. That's going to be a kill into another buyback. Collapse. uses that Crimson Guard. Mickey jumps in. Nice double Earth Spike from Mira. And still not really any value kills onto the cores yet, but you could get some diebacks on these cores. That could be the value kill. That is a monster kill for qojqva. No buyback on the PL, and this means Spirit needs to get out. And the Roche shall be free for Liquid, but the question is, can they get any more out of this? Curse is finally used after all that time. Collapse, extremely tanky, and it looks like Liquid are not even going to bother chasing as Roche is half HP. This is going to be pretty big. This is the shard, which I assume Sumail takes.
Yeah, you would imagine they'd just put it on Sumail. Maybe Tiny could also be an option, but he might not know he has a shard either because he can't see it.
All right, it's going to be on Taiga.
They put it on Taiga.
So
okay.
Scatter Blast, which is the Q. Yeah, you get the stun and it knocks people back.
He has Dagger already. It's really good against PL. Yeah. That's fair enough. I like this. I think
he was going to buy it as well.
This is also one of the best shards in the game.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's very,
I'm not saying it's not very good, but when I say best shards in the game, I think top 5, and I would not put this top 5.
I don't know. I guess the reason it might not feel that strong is that it kind of depends on the dagger to be really good. But once you have that, like, think about what Snapfire can do with this. You have a blink, more or less instant stun from the cookie, which is relatively, compared to cookie, which is relatively easy to react to. So you blink Scatter Blast, and then you can cookie onto the scatter. Yeah. So it gives Snapfire like a high-level dragon.
I wish it changed the name from Scatter Blast to Sawed-Off Shotgun, because that's what it feels like.
Right.
You're up close and personal. You just do all this ridiculous damage. It's an old Half-Life thing as well, and you can get the references there. The lore is intertwined. This is all the same universe, I'm sure. I'm sure that's definitely true. Definitely not, actually. qojqva pressuring the mid tower in the meantime. Sumail in the bot, and again, they have Aegis, they have Cheese, and they have the newly picked up shard on Taiga, so, which I don't even think they know about. So this could be like a surprise factor as well. It's pretty powerful with that 2-second stun. And Sumail has the Slaughter Crest applied as well. X marks into, I don't think they're actually going to go on this. Yeah, Toronto Token. I mean, he's in Elder Dragon form, and I think if Liquid sees this, they probably just wait it out. Although Yataro's in the top lane, he gets the tier 3. Mickey does have that overwhelming blink. See how they play this. Again, Sumail can go back and forth to whatever lane he wants as long as there's a trap available, which is super value. It's basically like having a Boots of Travel on crack.
I feel like you could make a case for Sumail just being top for like 30 seconds now, putting 5 traps and then going bot.
Yep.
Because then he can defend that top lane for a good like 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
But instead they're sending up Mickey there. I get that they want to use Sumail to siege the high ground bot, but I don't know. He can even leave a trap down here, right? Then TP top, place the traps there, and trap down here again.
Did they miss the stun there? I didn't get out the Scatter Blast in range, it looks like. Toronto Tokyo, again, in human form, so Sumail is not super scared, although, I mean, the one benefit of being in human form is your stun is instant. So if you get the blink and you're actually in range, which means you have to be on top of them, it is instant. You can't really dodge that. In the high ground defense, I think they're going to have to give this up without Elder Dragon form, and Mickey's just going to jump with that overwhelming blink. Tossed back out, you can see the Snapfire ult doing work on the back. But qojqva might die, he's going to have to cold embrace himself. Oh, is that enough damage over time? No, he's going to heal through it, but Taiga jumps in with the Scatter Blast, rips him a new one, and just like that, it's a 5v4 and the full bottom racks for Liquid. But Yataro being very annoying, he gets the range racks, which is kind of meh, better than nothing. I mean, you have to do what you got to do here. I mean, this is like the split push attempt that is kind of countered by this Aghanim Scepter on TA.
I just want to say, like, I'm not sure how many games I've seen of it this tournament so far. I have not been impressed with PL. I don't think it's because necessarily like the players are making crucial mistakes. I just think the game is too fast. Like every PL, I do think every PL I've seen has not looked great, whether it won or lost. I think maybe it only lost, actually, the games I saw, but it's like I'm just trying to imagine there could have been another carry here that could have brought something to the table earlier. And when you go for this build with Diffusal Manta, you're like surprisingly fragile. Yeah. You see in these fights, he goes in, he pops all his stuff and goes in as support. He gets counterplayed by one core, he either dies or has to run away. And his fight is over.
What do you think about him not having Shard on PL? I feel like, I know it was nerfed, but it still feels like such a core mechanic, like a core part of this hero right now. Essentially gives you the extra bounce on Spirit Lance, and then the illusion is stronger than a normal illusion.
Yeah.
Is this not just? I feel. Isn't this just a shard you get literally every game? Am I wrong?
I don't know. I have a very bad win rate with PL.
Thank you.
So.
If I was, all right, we'll have to get back to this. As my goodness, speaking of Yataro, he gets deleted from the map. And my analysis would be even worse if I just based it off my own plays. Mickey jumps over the overwhelming blink. That's the Avatos, not enough to kill Mira, but yeah, he gets burnt down regardless. And this looks like it might be the game ender here.
I'm trying to imagine your analysis of like every hero in Dota is bad except Pangolier.
Melee. No, melee heroes are the only good heroes in the game. Yeah, I agree with that assessment. Thank you, Synchronous. The Aegis has run out.
Okay, so I will say we've actually talked about this a little bit in the Talent Lounge about PL, especially with inspiration from SEA, where most of the players did not go Diffusal. I believe they went Scotty and Manta or something like this. Either that build or the Shard build with Octarine, like you talked about.
Yeah.
Because this Diffusal Manta build just seems to have like a very narrow window where you need to get a lot done.
I mean,
and if you don't do it, you're just getting overrun.
Run the Kunkka PL against Vici, and it worked out really well.
Did he buy the same items as well?
I mean,
he might have. It's not like it's just flat out bad every game, right? Like it's not my point to just say PL is garbage, but I'm just saying from the games we've seen overall, it has not been impressive for the most part. Other heroes just seem more consistent in wins or losses.
No, I think that's not really a bold statement. I mean, look at his net worth, by the way. I just looked at that.
He's had a tough game.
Yeah, very, very rough one for Yataro. And it kind of all started in the laning stage. At level 6, like you talked about, I mean, he can survive the first 6 levels, but Brood just takes over the lane and you just can't go back.
It's a fair point. He did play against the 4th pick Brood, which should never happen in this patch, in my opinion.
I feel like she's been banned first 2 for most teams, right?
It's banned a lot.
There's just so many heroes to value. Like AA feels like this hero, and we talked about it. It got through the first couple days, and now we're not seeing it at all.
I would.
So you only get 4 bans overall in the first phase.
Right. You obviously have to pick your poison.
Very good. No, you have to pick your cholera and pest or something.
Which one is Brood?
He's all of it combined.
So obviously they like break the game in each their own ways, right? AA and Brood. It feels like if you don't have a really good solution for Brood, these games feel so incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
Like imagine the Oracle is an AA instead and then the Brood is banned. I feel like Tspirit can show more signs of life in this game. I think the vast majority of the reason they lost was that this Brood just ruined their game minute 10. Yep. They lost the map, then they lost Roche, they lost bottom mid tower, he killed their supports, he went for a pipe really early on because he doesn't even need to buy damage to do damage. To me this hero is just absolutely crazy.
Yep, I agree. I mean, I was talking about this hero with Jenkins over a month ago, why is this hero ever getting past the ban stage? And some teams just feel comfortable, like, oh, we can do it, but I feel like just having that mentality, it's nice to be confident against every hero, of course, but you just have to do so much like different in order to counter a hero like Broodmother that just changes the complexion of the game in general. So, easier to ban Incinerate, in other words. But I am happy to see offlane Kunkka. Obviously didn't really, I mean, really no lanes went particularly well for Spirit. As Liquid got off to a very fast start. You do see the Ags onto Tiny, so he gets the tree ball. He can throw trees like you're seeing here. And it does proc items, which for him, I believe, is just the Echo Saber slow.
Yep.
Typically, you'd want like late game Daedalus that crits, and you can just deal a crap ton of damage, but...
Can I just say I love the sound of Overwhelming Blink? It's so nice.
The item is very underwhelming, though. It's an underwhelming blink to me. It's the worst of the 3 blinks, by far.
I love bass.
I mean, the bass is nice. I mean, you talk about the sound design in Dota all the time. Valve has done an incredible job. Other than, what was that thing that had no noise? The hawk. The diving hawk. Yeah, get that fixed immediately. We see the stun come out onto Toronto, Tokyo, or from Toronto, Tokyo, I should say.
They're not even doing damage.
They deal 0 damage right now. Disarm onto Sumail. He's just going to reset, and you can see the ult from Snapfire dealing considerable amount of damage. And I mean, with the Toronto Tokyo ult again, I mean, I know Liquid are up. They can reset.
Why did he just blink it on Wyvern? What was that?
Yeah, Wyvern instantly buys back into the game, perhaps trying to bait some stuff just like Sumail Cinderin. Learning from his opponents.
Yeah. Find a way to bait yourself a 23k gold lead then.
Yeah, true that. Oh, we do see the shard on Brood and the Axe. So the shard is Silken Bola AoE. There's the Avatar and the X back.
It ruins PL. If you use this doppelganger, you just blind all of them.
Yeah, that's actually really true. He has to get an MKB to counter that. doppelganger.
Control him
And
now.
they actually kill Sumail. They're draining his mana pretty well with these illusions. And he gets the false promise though, trying to right-click his way out of it. Toronto Tokyo is in a lot of trouble as a result. And yeah, with Mickey's help, they find his way to the grave. Yataro in the meantime, still applying all the pressure to Sumail. He might get the kill, but it's taking so long to kill him. Finally, he drops. 2 buybacks required for Spirit though. And this is this is the last-ditch effort. Although TA buys back, and obviously TP back thanks to the Aghanim Scepter. These illusions are starting to be a problem here. And here comes Sumail, trying to right-click down. The Kunkka collapse, already at half HP. And with that beautiful stun from Scatterblast, that was really nicely done on multiple heroes. These fights are lasting so long just because of how tanky everybody is. With Sumail dropping the supports extremely quickly, and it looks like their targets are set onto this Kunkka. And with that, I do believe that the game will end, Cinder.
Oh, another
Very bold
buyback.
prediction, yeah, buyback. Onto Insania.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And collapse. Oh, he was getting chased in the base there.
Mikha's discovering new land.
Yeah, he's getting his damage mitigated by Toronto Tokyo, which doesn't really have much damage on top of that, sadly. Another Snapfire. This fight has been going on so long that Snapfire ult has refreshed. Still not that much damage applied, but qojqva and company, they're surrounding him. There's a Scatterblast into the cookie, into the right clicks, but there's the Winter's Curse. Not going to be enough to save his comrade in arms. Now Mickey with the Avatar's combination, that's 4 dead. Surely, that's GG. Surely. There we go. Liquid takes a much-needed Game 1 victory. They need the second game as well. But then again, Spirit, they'd be fine drawing this series because that puts them in